Trigger warning, mention of suicide and murder, nothing graphic. Heartstrings. It was the photographer. Evelyn's psychic ability to read people's history had made that abundantly clear. Granted, her reading provided her with more of a highlight reel that was colorful, to say the least. She quickly made her way over to Devin. He was currently enjoying his third crab cake at the open buffet. "He's here," she said. "Who's here?" asked Devin after taking a swig of water to clear the remnants of crackers that were struggling to go down. Evelyn's exasperation was evident. "The target," she stated. Devin's eyes lit up. "We found them? My idea worked?" Evelyn shook her head, but a smile was evident on her lips. "You were due for a good idea, darling. The question is, how do we take him down while doing minimum damage to the event and guests?" They were currently at a Heart's Desire meet-and-greet dating event. It was being held under a large canopy in Hopewell Park. It had recently come to the attention of the Heart's Desire's owner that a number of his clients were disappearing. He had reached out to the Salt Lake City Order for help. Evelyn, with the help of one of her colleagues, Carter Dane, known as Hacks, was able to notate a pattern with the victims, primarily that the assailants would delete their dating profiles after the attack. The thing was, the assailant would have already been dead at that time, because every single attack resulted in a murder-suicide. More interestingly, the attackers had no history of violence, meaning there was a good chance that the attackers were forced to act under duress or weren't in control of themselves whatsoever. Henry Hex, the aforementioned owner, was a cupid. He could literally find someone's soulmate for them. The only one of the two ways the contract could be voided is if someone fell in love with one of their soulmates. Yes, people had more than one, or if they passed on. Henry quickly realized he had been losing 2 to 6 clients a month for the past 3 months. Losses that weren't related to finding their person. Hence why he readily allowed for Hacks to fully investigate his company's database to see if they could find anything that could potentially lead them to the killer. While Hacks had been able to provide a general criminal profile of the potential assailant, supernatural in nature, no surprise there, and a man, he didn't have much else. The killer's targets may have been pulled from the same dating pool, but there wasn't a clear target in and of itself. It would seem the killer chose at random. Or so they had initially thought. It became apparent that each victim had attended a Heart's Desire meet-and-greet event. Per the suggestion of Devin, Evelyn's partner in the field, Hacks tended to stay base-focused. He suggested they should attend the parties as host assistants, who essentially mingled with the guests and acted as unintentional wingmen. Henry wasn't opposed to the idea. It would give them the freedom to move about, but not interfere with the professionals he hired. Henry, who enjoyed order and consistency, thankfully made sure to utilize the same business services for each event: security, catering, waitstaff, and photography. Evelyn had made her way around to each individual working at the event and had just been able to shake hands with the photographer as he was between clients. When she was provided with a brief review of his colorful extracurricular activities that he partook in outside of work. "What exactly does he do?" asked Devin. "He's a gifted like us. He has the ability to puppeteer people, basically," said Evelyn. Devin looked concerned. "Does he have control of you?" Evelyn shook her head. "No, my ability, in addition to reading others, rebuffs any psychic connection. A latent defense, I guess." Devin nodded. "Ah, yes, the failed telepathic communication incident of 2020. How could I forget?" Evelyn punched him in the arm. A passing waiter carrying some dirty plates eyed the two of them. Devin merely chuckled as he added his empty plate and glass to their tray. Shrugging, the waiter soon moved on. "We need a plan," said Evelyn. Devin considered their options. A direct approach could work if Evelyn was resistant to the killer's abilities, but Devin wouldn't have such liberties. He didn't possess an innate psychic block, so it was imperative they neutralize the threat by surprise. His own gifted ability was to increase his athletic prowess. He literally had the natural ability to be faster, stronger, more agile, and possessed near unending endurance than anyone he faced off against. both a blessing and a curse. He had on more than one occasion found himself with super strength or speed. Thankfully, the effect was temporary. His baseline was on the same level as an Olympic athlete without having to try. But he still hit the gym 5 to 6 times a week. Regardless, he didn't think his talent would directly relate to the current threat. Thankfully, all he had to do was knock the photographer unconscious. An old-fashioned punch should be enough. "You're not going to punch him," said Evelyn evenly. Devin looked at her surprised. "You have a tell," Evelyn said. "I have a hit someone tell," said Devin. "You punched your one hand into the palm of your other hand. It's an obvious read," said Evelyn. Henry made his way over. "How are things going? Everyone seems to be enjoying themselves and no problems as of yet." "It's the photographer," Evelyn and Devin responded in unison. Henry's face paled. "You're certain?" His voice was hesitant. Evelyn nodded. Henry sighed. "Well, should I have security remove him?" "Not just yet," said Evelyn. "He's gifted. I don't know how he'd respond to any approach to remove him." "Gifted how?" asked Henry. "He can control people," answered Devin, "but we don't know much more than that." "Yet," said Evelyn as she pulled out her phone and called Hacks. "Hacks here. How goes the assignment, Evelyn?" said Carter. "We have our guy, a photographer by the name of Kingston Marlowe." She garnered that information from her history review. His name tag had read otherwise. "He's gifted. He can control other people. Is he in the gifted database?" Evelyn heard Hacks typing away furiously. After a small wait, she felt a bit of relief as Hacks said, "Got him!" It was a known fact that all gifted were to report their abilities to an order directly or a subsidiary location, such as a city hall, so that the gifted's ability could be submitted to the government database. There were arguments on both sides around the validity of this practice, but the information wasn't made public. And, in times like this, it made dealing with criminals much easier. Well, in theory. "He can indeed control people. He's known as Mr. Marionette. Apparently, Puppet King was already taken," said Hacks. "Anything else?" asked Evelyn. "Not really. His power wasn't considered a true threat to society, ironically, so he didn't grow up through an order," said Hacks. "No, criminal record, pays his taxes." Evelyn wasn't surprised. Most killer kept a low profile. Plus, regarding his gift, unless you had the power to blow stuff or people up, most abilities were considered tame. "Well, based on the read I got, I don't think he would pass a standard psych evaluation," said Evelyn. "You'd be wrong," responded Hacks. "How so?" asked Evelyn. "Apparently there was something. 8 years ago, age 16, he was a potential suspect in the homicide case of Angelica Singh, but it was ruled a suicide," said Hacks. "What led authorities to that conclusion?" asked Evelyn. "A video surfaced of the girl offing herself by plunging a knife into her own chest," said Hacks. "Do you have the footage and can you send it to me?" asked Evelyn. There was a ping notification on her phone. Evelyn motioned for Devin and Henry to follow. They went to a more secluded part of the canopy, and she played the video. No question the girl offed herself, but the look on her face was wrong. Granted, Evelyn hadn't seen many suicides, but that wasn't the face of a girl who had nothing to live for. It was fear like her hand had been forced. "Oh my goodness," said Henry. "What is this?" asked Devin. "Our killer's first victim," stated Evelyn. Her voice was unquestioning. She'd seen the girl from Kingston's past. He had been there when she did it, looking right at her, recording. "Agreed," said Hacks as Evelyn put her phone back up to her ear. "We know he can make people self-eliminate and apparently kill for him too, but can he control more than one person at a time?" asked Evelyn. She heard Hacks continue to type away furiously before a defeated response of, "I don't know." "Understood. Thanks, Hacks. Also send in the collection team," said Evelyn before disconnecting. "Devin," she said, "I've changed my mind. Punch his lights out." Devin nodded and started to walk around about way over to the photographer. Kingston was playing through a mental list of his potential new victims. He would go through the photos tonight to see which ones spoke to him. He enjoyed finding new playthings while eating dessert. It added an extra level of enjoyment. He was just about to head through the crowd to get some more candid shots for Heart's Desire's website when he felt a presence behind him. He turned, and the incoming fist stopped just short of connecting with his face. Kingston smiled. "Figured it out, did you?" Devin tried to physically free himself but found he was completely paralyzed. Kingston winked, and Devin's punching arm rested by his side. Fear was evident in Devin's eyes. Kingston loved to see the fear in his puppet's eyes, that sinking feeling when they realized they had no control over their own actions. Everyone was nothing more than his plaything. What to do, said Kingston. "Do I have you hurt yourself or others? Or do I just have one of the guests here just start stabbing away, then have you stop them yourself?" Kingston's eye lit up at that. Devin couldn't respond. Kingston smiled. "I think," he said, "I'll have you go and take care of your friend first, then enjoy as security shoots you. Because as a photographer, I always enjoy a good shoot." Devin groaned internally. Kingston motioned for him to return to Evelyn, and Devin found himself responding in kind. Unable to stop. Kingston hadn't even touched him, just a look. A simple exertion of Kingston's will, and Devin had been rendered powerless. Kingston's will. Devin realized at that moment that Mr. Marionette did have a weakness. Yes, he was in control of Devin, but he had to focus on Devin. Just like any puppeteer, if he lost his focus, he would potentially lose his control. But Devin couldn't speak. He couldn't do anything. His thoughts were his own, but nothing else. Evelyn was alone now. Henry having returned to his guests, he assumed. Certainly Evelyn would know something was wrong. He wouldn't just come back to her. Evelyn, as if sensing his near presence, or probably smelling his cologne, turned to face him. Her phone was next to her ear. "He's here," Evelyn stated into her phone. Devin was confused for a moment, but then he stopped moving. His control returned. But part of him could still feel Kingston's presence in his mind. Kingston may no longer be pulling the strings. But they weren't cut either. Devin looked back over to see Kingston being held by 2 security guards. Henry close by giving orders. Then within moments, all 3 men shut down. None of them reacted as Kingston pulled himself free of the 2 security guards and began to hastily make his way out into the park, no doubt heading towards the parking lot. Devin made to go after him, but Evelyn stopped him. "Stay here, he can't hurt me." Kingston was at his car. He would have to figure out a way to get his equipment back later. That had been close. Full manipulation of 1 person was easy, 2 were challenging, and 3 had been stretching his limits. No doubt everyone had regained their senses by now. He could still feel them, but the further away the fainter his pull. It's why he usually only focused on 1 puppet at a time. His control was unwavering, no matter the distance, with 1 person. Granted, he always chose to be close by for the main event of execution. He enjoyed capturing phonographic mementos after each kill. "Hello, darling," said Evelyn. Kingston straightened. Perhaps tonight wouldn't be a total loss. He turned to see Evelyn aiming a taser at him. She'd grabbed one from the security station before she ran after him. "Evelyn Summer, a pleasure seeing you again," said Kingston. "I'll admit when we met earlier you caught my attention quite quickly. You are a beautiful woman." Evelyn tilted her head to the side. "You're an odd man, Mr. Marlowe. Please kindly get on the ground." A sickening smile crossed Kingston's face. "You know my actual name. Impressive. But I have a better idea. Why don't you kneel in front of me?" Evelyn sneered at the implied implication. She considered playing along, but quickly realized he would know he wasn't in control. Besides, she had no intention of ruining her dress, especially for such a vile person. So she shot him instead. He screamed, then collapsed to the ground and spasmed. Evelyn spoke into her phone. "He's down, move in." In short order, a Salt Lake Order collection unit pulled up. Kingston was starting to regain control of his body when a pair of hands roughly lifted him from the ground. Snarling and tired of playing games, Kingston didn't hesitate to take control of these new pawns, only to find that not only did he not have control of either person restraining him, but a shocking realization occurred when he realized he could no longer feel his tether on anyone else this evening. As if all the strings had been completely cut. "How?" he demanded. Both men holding Kingston, Agents Wright and Harp, looked at Evelyn with bemusement in their eyes. Evelyn was the one who answered as she came closer to him. "You see, darling, you are a criminal," Evelyn said. "The Salt Lake City Order is many things. A school, a sanctuary, a hospital, but above all else, it is a government agency dedicated to hunting down rogue gifted and bringing them to justice." "I'm aware of what the orders are. How are you stopping my ability?" Kingston snapped, venom clear in his voice. Evelyn smiled. "You see, Mr. Marlowe, there are beings called nulls. They are few and far between. Some of them affect the arcane, some supernatural creatures, in the case of Agent Wright, gifted." Kingston started to laugh, an immediate shift from his initial reaction. The three agents shared a look. "How quaint, but you can't stop me forever. Some of you freaks may be able to avoid my control, but not all of you. I'll be free soon enough," said Kingston. Agents Wright and Harp dragged Kingston back to their transportation unit. After securing Kingston with handcuffs and making sure he didn't have any weapons present on him, Agent Wright rode in the back with Kingston, keeping a hand on him to make sure he didn't relink with anyone. Devin arrived shortly after. "I don't know what you did, but I don't feel him anymore. Same with everyone else." "How many?" asked Evelyn as she turned back to the party. "Excluding the 2 security guards and Henry, at least half the attending guests," said Devin, his tone neutral. Evelyn nodded. "I'll inform Hacks. We may want to reach out to Agent Misty. She can make sure to do a telepathic clean sweep of everyone's minds. Think there's any crab cakes left." Kingston was being held in solitary confinement. Per Agent Misty, he wasn't connected to anyone any longer. As long as he didn't make visual or physical contact with people face to face, video didn't count, he was unable to enforce his will on them. Regardless, he was transported to the Washington Order and was to be held there indefinitely, until his court date. Agent Wright had acted as his transport buddy the entire ride,